Hi and welcome guys to episode 7 of The Nomadic Parents. Today we have again with us here Zakira, and as you can see she's been growing quite a bit and she's also a lot more active. In this episode we're going to go through a lot of exciting topics. There's a lot of new updates and changes that have been happening. But why don't you tell us a bit about the general of this podcast? What are the topics and what do we talk about?
Yeah, in every episode, we talk about our last month together with Zakira. So this is the 7th month. She turned 7 today, which is a big milestone. And as you can hear, she is the one going, hey, hey, in the background. And we talk about sleep development, or like how she sleeps, physical development, cognitive development, and parenting challenges in every episode.
And for those of you who are listening or watching this podcast, you can see it on YouTube, but you can also listen to it at every major podcast platform. We obviously appreciate if you send us questions. You can comment them on YouTube or send us directly via Instagram. And yeah, I think let's get this episode started.
Yeah. Hey guys, my name is Sylvia, this is Zakira, and together with my husband Georg, we're launching a new parental podcast. We've been together for over a decade, and a lot of the time we've been traveling. And in 2019, we started our first company, which also has involved a lot of remote working. As family, business partners, and traveling parents, there is a lot to life which needs balancing. In this podcast, we share month-by-month updates from my daughter's upbringing, from birth and further into her life on the road. Welcome to our new podcast, The Nomadic Parents. Let's start with sleep. As you can, if you're following along on video, you can see that she's kind of tired right now. She normally has 2 big naps a day. Now in the 7th month, they've been super consistent around 9-10, so earlier than before. And then another one at 4-5, and it's 5 o'clock now, which is why she is screaming for sleep.
And you can probably tell that it's a bit disorganized here. We're having Zakira and she's craving a lot of attention, but we kind of decided that we wanted to give it a go to shoot this podcast with Zakira as she's growing up. So I'm actually expecting the next episodes to be quite challenging because she's kind of in that state where when there's nothing happening that is interesting to her, or, you know, she challenges a lot her own patience. She's always demanding something to happen.
Yeah, but I also think in the next podcast we can be better at timing them, not when she has nap time, because they're very consistent around now.
All right, we had to take a little break. Zakira got a little bit too tired and whiny, so we put her down, and Sylvia is currently breastfeeding her, and hopefully we can hold her a bit more up later in the podcast episode so that those of you watching in video can see how she's been growing. But yeah, let's jump into sleep.
Well, lately she has 2 super regular naps, one around 9-10 and then another one at 4-5. So the next episodes will be better at timing that. These episodes not in time. And she still sleeps like she has, which is falling asleep around 9-10-11. Lately it's been closer to 9. And then she sleeps until 3-4 in the night before she wakes up and wants to feed. And then I bring her to my bed.
Yeah,
she sleeps sooner.
She has been getting a bit earlier tired. Like, not all the time, but on a more regular basis.
Yeah, closer to 9. It's been, which has been quite nice actually to have some hours alone in the evening. But it also takes the hours away from the midday naps instead, so she has a lot shorter naps and then sleeps most of her time in the night.
And then I have tried as good as possible to wake up a bit earlier the last weeks and take her out of bed in the morning so that you can have like at least an extra hour of peace in the morning. That probably has helped a little bit.
Yeah, because she wakes up at 6 and then, which she hasn't done earlier. Normally, or before, she's always slept until 8, 9, even 10. And now she wakes up at 6 and then it's kind of chaos in bed. And then she falls asleep again at 7.
She's very playful in the morning. It's almost like she wakes up with like an adrenaline rush. She wants something to happen immediately, but she plays that energy out of herself within an hour or so.
Yeah.
And then she want to nap again.
Yeah, so I've been just keeping her in bed and then playing a bit with her, and either Georg has been taking her out of the bed or she's just been falling asleep. Hello.
Are you fun?
She's like, what is happening?
I can have her sit a bit with me here. Yeah. Hello.
No more breastfeeding.
But something new has been happening the last month. At nighttime, she has been starting to scream.
Yeah, we're not sure why, but she'll scream and then just fall asleep herself. I noticed that, like, the first time she did it, I took her out of bed and then she just instantly fell asleep in my arms again. But now we've been just letting her sleep or not touching her, and then she falls asleep again. It's very weird. Super loud screaming. Not crying, but literally screaming.
And her sleep has become way more heavy. You can move her a lot when she's fallen asleep without her waking up immediately.
Yeah, and sometimes you put her down and she looks at you and she falls asleep again, like it's not even conscious. So yeah, definitely really heavy sleep.
Yeah, and I think the last update regarding sleep is just she's still in our room, and I don't think that will change in any future because it's really nice. And I don't know, like I can't really see us having a children room very soon, especially thinking about how much we travel. And
it feels a bit unnatural to not have her sleep with us because our dog Lola has always slept in the bed with us.
So yeah, true. I never thought about that. That would be really weird having Lola with us. But it will happen at some point when she's like 2 or 3.
Yeah, but it's still a long time from now.
All right, let's jump a bit into physical development. So as you can see, this example of a humankind has grown a lot since last month. We feel like she is having this different growth stages, and they also say this, that babies suddenly like
have spurs.
Yeah, it's called spurs.
Growth spurs.
Growth spurs, and especially the last 2 weeks, I feel she has gotten like at least 5 more centimeters.
Yeah.
She really stretched herself, especially the spine and the back. You can see it's like really shaping itself, gaining a lot of muscles.
She's become super strong. And 2 days ago, she actually did her first crawling steps. And she's starting to figure out the crawling. She's not really actively crawling yet, but she's doing a lot of planks, a lot of squats. She's almost mastered sitting. Not like getting herself up herself, but if you put her in the sitting position, she's actually able to hold her back.
But she's definitely planking a lot, as you mentioned. Like that's her favorite activity. She'll be an hour or 2 on her own, just pushing herself up in a plank and experimenting with that. Yeah. And she's become really fast in rolling around.
Yeah,
she can roll around like 3 to 4 times within a couple of seconds. It's almost like she does it on purpose, like rolling fully 360 several times just to move more easy.
And another thing she starts to do is when she does the plank, she'll start to scream. But it's not like really painful screaming or that she needs anything. It's more like, yeah. And then she's also starts to do this thing we call a dragon scream, which is just screaming on the top of your lungs.
She really enjoys that, and I think that's probably a bit my fault because I did it a lot with her just to play around. Let's see if we can do it here, just for fun. Wow. Oh. No? Oh. No. Not today. She seems a bit like curious about all the microphone and the camera. She looks at everything as like, how are all these things directed towards us?
It's gonna be really fun because she's gonna grow up with it, and then later she's probably gonna be like, hello.
Well, more to physical development, I've really been enjoying pool time with her.
Yeah.
And there it came. The pool here has really opened up some beautiful opportunities because
Yeah, we're in a house with a huge pool outside, 20 meters, and we're using it 3 times a day.
and the pool, the way it's constructed, it has a very shallow bit all around almost, which is made for sitting.
Kind of a bench, underwater bench.
Like an underwater bench, but it's actually the perfect height for Zakira to stand and hold herself on the edge of the pool, which is very coincidental, but it helps her a lot. We've been like almost every day the last week out there practicing to hold herself, and it helps a lot on balancing. And she's doing her first, like, she's become really good in catching herself. Like normally babies will fall a lot over and you have to be with them all the time. And I'm still with her, but she's catching herself.
But it's really fun to see how much she actually enjoys the water. For example, sometimes she'll be a bit naggy, and then I'll just take her outside and like go in the water with her, and she'll be super happy, splatting her hands around, trying to get water in her mouth, and just making a chaos and enjoying life. And then the last update, I think, is food. We bought a baby chair just for her to like properly sit somewhere and have her own place to make a mess, and been giving her big pieces of food. For example, her favorite right now is tomatoes. We'll cut them in four and give her pieces, and she's really mastered how to hold the tomato, pinch stuff, and eats everything you put in front of her. So we need to be very careful not to have any Lego laying around and stuff.
But I have a little confession to make.
Okay.
Can you hold her a bit? I have been giving her a lot of different stuff to experiment in life early, and she's been having her first piece of pizza.
You like pizza?
We're making a lot of pizza here in the house in Ayampe because we have a beautiful pizza oven. Actually, every Wednesday and every Saturday, sometimes even a day more. And she's been craving it a lot. Like when Daddy's been making, she's been looking at it like, why are you not giving me this? Coming back, she's like a monkey climbing around.
Yeah.
So yeah, it gets more and more demanding, the physicality of it.
I also feel like the weight is bothering me a bit.
I think that's more a case for you.
She's
not.
heavy now. Like holding her in the baby carrier is not a problem, but on the hands, I can't hold her more than 15 minutes.
But I enjoy it that she's moving and doing stuff. It is kind of a phase where it is a bit intense because there is a lot of shaking and random movements and pushing around. So
and she's strong.
So I'm looking forward for it to be like maybe in a month or 1.5, it's gonna be a lot more focused and controlled movement. Is already like, I mean, she can pinch stuff very well and she can focus on things, but there's a lot of random body movements.
Definitely. Okay, let's move over to cognitive development.
But before cognitive development, I have a little surprise for this episode. It's not gonna take very long, but I want to introduce a little mid-section thing for these podcasts, and those are surprise questions. So I have 2 for each here. You can start with one of yours, but read it loud and well, and then I'll answer. And same to you.
So I read both of them.
And just the first question.
The toughest experience
So far. The toughest experience for me so far, I think, was quite long ago. It was when I had her home alone for the very first time, and you were gone out with my mom to have a dinner, and she immediately started to crying on top of her lungs, and I couldn't manage to feed her or calm her down. So I had her like 5 hours, 6 hours of constant screaming in pain, you know, and I didn't know what to do. That was tough, but it's long ago. So, what is your toughest?
With Zakira?
Yeah, your toughest experience with Zakira ever. If you have to choose one.
Just like with the baby general or Zakira in general?
Zakira.
What is the toughest experience? I found it a bit hard to fly with her from Spain to Ecuador Because I have this syndrome, like good girl syndrome, so I like to be nice to the people around me. So I get a bit stressed when she cries, and just when she's annoying to other passengers. And she didn't cry that much on the trip to Ecuador, the 12-hour flight, but I used a lot of energy to keep her quiet, and just like I feel like sacrificed my boobs, just like, okay, take the boob, I don't care if you're biting, just don't cry and don't bother other people.
Yeah, I remember that. That was tough.
And I didn't.
But you did really well. You did really well.
Thank you.
Okay, my turn. Quick answer. The favorite moment so far. Small little moment. I know there are many. But
I love when she wakes up in the morning and she's like kind of like hazy, like and then she sees me and I'd like hi, and she goes like that's a really nice feeling.
That's morning surprise of always being in love with you.
Yeah.
All right, your last question and my last question.
Looking most forward to right now.
Well, for me, looking forward to one moment is running together. What are you looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward to movie nights.
To sleeping at the night?
No, movie nights.
Movie nights together.
Like family movie nights.
All right, my last questions. Your thoughts on saving up money for your kids?
Definitely a big yes.
Yeah, you think it's like something parents should do, that when their kids start their life, they have some savings?
If you have the chance, I remember as a kid, it was really nice to look at my savings account and be like, when I'm old enough, this is going to be my money. And then every Christmas, you get a little bit more to put in your account. And then for your confirmation, you get a hefty sum. And it's like, ooh, one day this is going to be mine, you know?
All right. Okay, let's move into cognitive development, but we're just going to hook up Zakira to the breast here.
This is feeding machine.
So give us 30 seconds and we'll be back. All right. Child is connected up to the boob and we can move into cognitive development. I'm still not feeling like there is a lot of change. There are small steps, really small steps, but it's hard to differentiate from month 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I think.
Or do you feel something stands out?
No, the things that really stand out is that she understands that now, for example, I'm in the baby chair. I'm going to get fed now. Or, I'm in a pool. I'm going to have slash my hands. And maybe we were expecting more of talking and problem solving and stuff. But this is also big things, you know. 'Cause she didn't know at 3 months. I'm getting a bite. I'm getting baited.
Yeah, maybe I'm not seeing the progress enough because I feel like I'm not the best in recognizing these kind of small steps. I'm more like seeing, physical development.
And but one of the things that have changed a lot is that she doesn't really cry anymore. She cries very little, and when she cries, it's it's really something. Like then she's been unhappy for a while, or very hungry, or.
Don't you believe, though, that we have been very blessed from the beginning?
Yeah.
We have, she is absolutely not a screamer. There is very little crying in general. And that's been the case from the start.
But this month, from 6 to 7, she has started to nag. And what I mean with that is, for example, she spends a lot of time just playing on the floor, practicing to crawl, and then she'll be like, ah! And then if you pick her up, it stops.
Yes.
It's probably just lonely and wants attention or something.
Yeah, she has definitely figured out how to let us know that, guys, I'm over here, I'm bored, there's not enough happening. So that's become a case. But I also feel like we found a nice balance between ignoring it and attending to her. For example, I have had some experience, where when I have her alone, I normally either I'm fully focused with her, then I'm doing stuff with her, taking her around, playing and experiencing stuff. But also if I decide, okay, I'm actually going to work now for 1 hour. Then I put a timer on my clock to every 20 minutes to give her at least a couple of minutes full attention.
Yeah.
And I feel she, unconscious, accepts that alone time more and more. I also see it, she does it with you, that if you are kind of focused, I want to do some work now, and you're not attending to her, even though she cries, then she just, or not cries, but nags. Then eventually she kind of stops a bit and does her own stuff.
And I feel like if there's something really bad, she'll start crying, and then of course we come running. But mostly it's just like communication, I think.
Yeah. One of the most distinct developments on the cognitive side, though, has been laughing and kisses. Like she kind of like starts to understand, not kiss like a actually kiss, but the kind of facial contact face to face is something she's starting to seek.
Definitely the kissing. We kiss her a lot, and she started to like kind of trying to chew on us. I think she thinks that's how kisses are, probably. But she takes our face and then shoves it towards her face and goes like,
Yeah, it's true. No, but it's really nice. And I think so far there hasn't been anything that has really put me off. But of course, there's been like major parenting challenge. And with that, let's jump into our last topic for this episode.
Parenting challenges.
That's always something we address in all these episodes. And for this last month,
actually, I wanted to bring up that normally, if you're Norwegian, the parental leave for the mothers, if she takes most of the parental leave, which is shared, is starting to end now. And I just couldn't picture how it would be to go from 100% her and then 100% not her.
Because but in most countries, you have been on a maternity leave now for 7 months, and you have 2 months left.
8 months. You go 1 month before the birth.
Okay, so you've been on 8 months, and you have kind of 2 left, or 1.5.
Yeah.
I think I could manage to take her full time. Like if I think I mean. It couldn't be that I'm working. It has to be that I'm like 100% at home, just chilling with her. Yeah, I think so.
But I was thinking more about me, because I've been working all of the pregnancy. I've been working all of the maternal leave. And I feel like this is a lifestyle which I'm just enjoying. This is life. It's life. Can't picture life with...
So you're saying you couldn't imagine being like completely without work for so long and then suddenly going back.
Yeah, it's too drastic change. For example, now I'm just like been slacking on the work, like working a lot less. And I'm picture I'm just going to continue this for her first years and then live my life and enjoy it. Like mix of work and mix of family all the time.
Yeah, I think that's a very healthy balance. I haven't given so much like close thought to it that way.
Yeah.
But I think that's a very nice way of putting it, especially for us being digital nomads, being able to be at home with our kids all the time. And I think that's something we should a bit more actively discuss also in the upcoming episodes, because we're now in a transition where most normal parents will go back to their work and they will face a lot of challenge in terms of feeling separated from their kid, or, there are bonds there that are hard to loosen up on. And that's definitely something that we haven't had. Probably in most homes, this is a very hot discussion topic right now.
Exactly.
And for us, it's not really been on the table at all, because we know it's just going to continue just like now.
Yes.
As long as we want it to.
That was my point, that it's just gonna continue just like now, and I think that's very unique. And I would recommend everyone to do it this way if possible.
And I think most people could do. I mean, you don't have to have. You can always ask your place if you can work a bit more remote, or actually like maybe you're in a position where you don't necessarily have to have that money or that income right now. Maybe just doing a couple of changes to your life, reducing your expenses, can enable you to stay home with your kids a long more time. And so
Yeah, I was just gonna say one of the biggest challenges with this lifestyle is that since we're both working and we're both leaders in the same company, we sometimes have to be like, we need to be both of us present in a meeting, and I find that very stressful.
yeah.
Because in Norway there's no culture for having your babies or kids in the meetings. And somehow I always just have to figure out a way to keep her, like have her, for example, turn off the camera and then be present with just voice, and then mute when I'm not talking, and then breastfeed her while we're having the meeting. But that's always a bit of a challenge, I feel.
But it's not too much of it.
No,
It's very few occasions.
Maybe once a month, so 7 times.
Yeah. It happens a couple of times, and I think that's also a challenge that we grow into. You know, we're like learning how to handle it together. And but yeah, in our Time to Live podcast, there we have been discussing a lot on how to reduce expenses and live a bit more freely. So I think a lot of parents should actually dive a bit into that, listen a bit to that, because I don't think we'll touch economics so much in this podcast. I don't feel it belongs. This is a podcast where we talk about Zakira and her development. But yeah, I definitely recommend all parents to try to figure out the way to reduce expenses in order to be much more with their kids.
And another parenting challenge I felt this month. Last week I went on a free diving course, and Georg had to take her those days where I was doing the course. So that was 5-6 hours, 2 days in a row. And I'm always very stressed to get home as quick as possible. And I feel...
Are you stressed when you talk to me?
Yes, very.
Why?
Because
explain me why are you stressed?
Because the previous experiences have been very negative. She's cried a lot, and you haven't been managing to calm her down. And she's changed a lot since last time you had her. It's like now she eats solid food. That helps a lot. And she also plays a lot more. It's not only about sleeping all the time. So it's been better. But I get really stressed because she gets very unhappy. And when she's unhappy, you get really unhappy. And then I feel bad for taking the time off and feel like, oh yeah,
no,
as soon as possible.
You shouldn't feel bad at all. And also, like, all the last months, it's been really easy to have her. Remember the one time, I think it was when she was 5 months old or 6?
That was the first time.
I was taking her like far away for many hours. No, to the car workshop.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I took her with me for hours and hours, and it dragged out much longer. And I mean, she can get tired or cry, but we always figure it out, you know? I'm not stressed having her. The only thing which is sometimes difficult is because I have a lot of leadership responsibilities which I can't take a break from right now. And so sometimes I'm a kind of pressure position in terms of like managing to stay relaxed, stay calm, stay present with family and with her, and at the same time coming by the pressure of those tasks.
But yeah, in our parenting roles, I naturally have taken more responsibility for Zakira, and you naturally have taken more responsibility for our companies. And I feel like it's a system that works very well. I hope you feel so.
Yes. We also we envisioned it. You remember you told me that you want to retire when you're 30. And it's all just half a year and you're 30.
It's all falling into place.
Well, I think that's pretty much for this episode. Zakira seems like fall asleep here under the drinking curtain. Yeah. And is there anything more you want to add for month 7?
One thing, I think for month 8, and we have been practicing this in month 7 as well, we need to become even better at prioritizing us as a couple and not us as parents. Because we've been giving Zakira everything, you know, and we need to try to find some breaks for us as well. We do that all the time.
But I think we have it, though. Like, we've had so many nice evenings the last month.
Just like...
What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
My husband. No, I'm joking. I want to do things that you don't do with a baby. For example, to go out free diving classes together. Because I was all the class, I was like, oh, Gail would have loved this. He would have been so good at this. And then I'm like, but he needs to take the baby.
Then I have
People invite me to so many things, and I'm like, we can't.
Then I have a challenge for you for episode 8, and that is that you have had to find a babysitter. Within next month, you're gonna find a babysitter. Wherever we are, doesn't matter. You have to organize a babysitter so that we actually can do things alone.
I'll try.
Yeah.
But I'm scared to give her up for other people.
Ah, come on! Just some months ago, you were kind of talking down on other mothers or like questioning other mothers that wouldn't do that. I'm not concerned at all.
Not scared of giving her to other people, but I need to find someone who I know if she cries is gonna handle it.
But most people have, especially if the person has been a mother herself.
Yes, if it's a mother, I would have been sure.
Anyway, guys, this is coming to an end. It's been a pleasure as always. For episode 8, we actually not know yet where we're gonna be. It can be that we have moved out of Ecuador. We're currently discussing if we wanna move a bit on. We're still fully in love here with Ayampa and Ecuador, and we haven't decided yet. But something is urging us a bit that we wanna be.
Us?
Okay, me. To be honest, the waves here in Ayampa are getting worse. The season is kind of coming to an end, and I know that in Spain, with our Dare van in North Spain, the waves are pumping right now.
And I'm a bit reluctant because the people here are so nice. There's so many other kids, and I'm never gonna find this again, I think, or I'm afraid.
But you can always return to this community. I'm also saying that.
But if you have a baby, if you have small kids, Ayampa is amazing. Yesterday we were at the birthday party, 12 o'clock at night. There were still 10 other kids awake, just having a time of their lives. Some kids were sleeping if they were tired. It was just great.
It was a beautiful party. It was a very like trance, psychedelic inspired forest family party. It was like in a.
But no, yeah, it's just techno music.
Yeah, there was 100% just trance music.
Trance music, and if you
that's the definition of trance music. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Techno,
trance. It was a beautiful house in the forest called The Nest up on a mountain, and they had done like a video installation, visual arts on walls in the house.
Guys, it was great. Come to Ayampa if you have kids, or if you don't.
I think the kid is the ticket to the community, though.
Definitely. And with that, we're rounding off this episode, and we'll see if we're in Spain or in Ecuador and who wins this fight next episode.
Okay, guys, leave a comment if you have any questions, and make sure to share this podcast around amongst friends and other parents. It's been great as always. See you next month.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.